In under 45 seconds, Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister of the UK, proves to us all right here in this clip that she does not support America's free and democratic society and has destroyed the UK and US special relationship in the process. So let me explain using amateur linguistic analysis. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to use amateur armchair linguistic analysis to show that in under 45 seconds right here, Angela Rayner does not support America's free and democratic society and has destroyed the UK and US special relationship in the process. In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Now, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and as a disclaimer, I am not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into this, shall we? This clip that I'm going to show you here is from 2020 on a show called Good Morning Britain. It shows Piers Morgan interview the now Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner during the height of COVID. Now, as of the time of this interview, Boris Johnson was Prime Minister of the UK and President Donald Trump was serving his first term as President of the United States. Here, Piers is asking her, who is the biggest idiot? Ex-Prime Minister Boris Johnson or President Donald Trump? Her answer is going to shock you. Here we go.
I mean, it's tough competition, if I'm honest. It's really tough competition.
So right off the bat, she starts off quite literally with what is known as a filler with the word This to me indicates that she did not have an answer right off the bat, that she really just does not know what she's talking about. This filler was a way of her trying to formulate an answer off the cuff. And you can tell, she says that it's tough competition as to who she determines is the biggest idiot twice. Thing is, she doesn't need to tell us twice. This could also indicate that she is squirming for an answer here, as by repeating herself with these fillers, she's using delaying tactics to formulate more of an answer in her head. She also uses the term I mean, which is known as an editing expression. Now, an editing expression in speech is the process of making amendments to what you say, whether that be to the content, structure, or even the delivery of what you say, as in how you say it. It's done to increase a level of understanding to what you say, but also its impact. She also uses editing expressions a few times in her answer here. Now, the term I mean is an informal idiom used to clarify, correct, or emphasize a statement. It can also be used to express disbelief or disapproval. Now, in this sentence that you've just heard from Angela, she repeated the phrase tough competition twice. Leads me to believe she used the informal idiom of I mean to emphasize this statement. Again, similar to the editing expressions I've just explained to you, she uses this particular informal idiom again in the next part here. So let's go.
I mean, we've got the highest death rates in Europe, and Donald Trump is killing, thousands of Americans by giving them duff advice and his macho, I'm all right, look at me, I've survived COVID.
So right off the bat, she uses the informal idiom of I mean again. Here, she now uses it to emphasize her disapproval of Donald Trump. She does this by firstly saying that Donald Trump was killing thousands of Americans. This is what is known as a false equivalence. She's equating COVID and Donald Trump to be one of the same thing. However, this is absolutely flawed and based on false reasoning. Why? Because ultimately, when people sadly passed away from COVID in America and all across the world, what was on their death certificate for the cause of death? I tell you something, it wasn't Donald Trump, it would have been COVID. There are also more examples of editing expressions here where she uses the phrase, twice, and I mean right at the beginning. She then tries to belittle him, saying that he was giving Americans duff advice, overall painting him as untrustworthy and not fit to be a leader. This is emphasised further when she then mimics him and calls him macho, trying to make out that it's all about the image rather than the substance of effective policies. Calling him macho is also meant from Angela as an ad hominem attack. Now, an ad hominem attack is attacking the person and their personality rather than debating their ideas and beliefs. Angela does this a lot in her answer, as you'll see right now.
He's an absolute buffoon. He has no place in the White House. He's an embarrassment, and he should be ashamed of himself, especially when thousands of Americans have died. COVID is a serious disease. It's a serious pandemic. People have died, loved ones have died, and he's an absolute disgrace. And so is Boris Johnson for not being able to even know his own rules. I think they're both idiots, and we deserve better than them.
What stands out to me so much in this part is the amount of ad hominem attacks she used against her opponents. Now, ad hominem, just to recap, is a type of argument that is used to attack who the person is rather than debate them on their ideas and policies. For me, it's the lowest form of debate and means only one thing. You have no idea what you're debating. You don't have the intellect for what you're discussing, and you just need to leave the arena right now. Overall, just on the face of it, I counted the following ad hominem attacks in Angela's complete answer that you've just heard right there. So you've got macho. He's an absolute buffoon. No place in the White House. He's an embarrassment. Should be ashamed of himself. He's an absolute disgrace. They're both idiots. We deserve better. So in less than 45 seconds, she used at least 8 ad hominem attacks against her opponents, mainly towards President Donald Trump, but there were a couple as well that were also equally aimed at Prime Minister Boris Johnson. If you're having to use 8, at very least, ad hominem attacks in an answer that's 45 seconds or less, like I said before, you've no idea what you're debating. You don't have the intellect for what you're discussing. Just leave the arena right now. Goodbye. Shut the freaking door on the way out. But overall, Pace's question was quite simply, who is the biggest idiot? Now, ultimately, this is quite pretty much really a binary question. It means there's only 2 answers to choose from, right? In this instance, for Angela Rayner, she had to choose between President Donald Trump or ex-Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Now, it would have been easier for Angela just to answer with one of these names and just be done with it, right? Instead, she doesn't, and goes on this whole convoluted mess of an answer to take the opportunity to insult President Donald Trump and ex-Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This is the thing. This was not about showing how Labour would have been better in power during the COVID years. This was an excuse for political point scoring on her opponents on public TV. Now, in total, as I said before, I counted at least 8 ad hominem attacks that Angela had made in under 45 seconds. Now, if that's not an egregious example of political point scoring, then I don't know what is. It does tell me, though, one thing, that Angela is more about insulting the opponent and actually does not have the capacity to debate them on their actual policies and ideas. By using this many ad hominem attacks in her answer, she's trying to appeal to the feelings and prejudices of the audience watching her rather than their intellect. One word of advice to you all: don't fall for it whatsoever. And so, yes, overall, just to come full circle, I've just shown you, using amateur armchair linguistic analysis, that in under 45 seconds, Angela Rayner does not support America's free and democratic society, and in the process has just destroyed the UK and US special relationship in the process, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. do your own research, come to your own conclusions. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and believe me, of course there's going to be more. Apologies there were no videos last week. I was suffering from a pancreatitis attack, but I am back. So of course there's now going to be more content. Please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever. What did you notice from watching this clip right here from the now Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner? Let me know in the comments down below. And until the next time, you guys, laters.